our wedding anniversary dinner, my wife brought another man and declared our marriage was now open. I didn't argue or lose my shit like she probably expected. Let me back up. Sarah and I had been married for 8 years. We'd built what I thought was a solid life together. She worked at my consulting firm as a project coordinator. We owned a house jointly that I'd been paying the mortgage on, and her ultra-religious parents still thought she was their perfect little angel. I should have seen the signs when she started working late and being secretive with her phone, but I trusted her. Big mistake. The anniversary dinner was at Romano's, this upscale Italian place where we'd had our first date. I got there early and was already seated when Sarah walked in with this guy. Tall, confident, probably mid-30s. She didn't even look embarrassed. Just walked right up to our table like nothing was wrong. "Mark, this is Derek," she said, sitting down across from me. Derek took the seat next to her, looking uncomfortable but trying to play it cool. "We need to talk about our relationship." I stayed calm, folded my hands on the table and waited. "I've been thinking a lot about us," she continued, "and I've realized I need more excitement in my life. Starting today, our marriage is going to be open. I want to explore my options." Derek shifted in his seat. I could tell this wasn't how she'd explained it to him. "Open marriage," I repeated. "Just like that. Just like that." She had this smug smile on her face like she just played the master chess move. "Derek and I have been seeing each other for 3 months. We're in love." The waiter came by asking about drinks. I ordered a whiskey. Sarah ordered wine for her and Derek. We sat there in silence until the drinks arrived. "So Derek," I said, taking a sip of my whiskey, "Sarah tell you she's married when you two started fucking?" His face went red. "She said you guys were separated and getting divorce papers soon." "Separated?" I looked at Sarah. "Funny, because I've been paying our mortgage, our car payments, and your salary at my company this whole time. Doesn't sound very separated to me." Sarah's smile faltered a little. "Mark, don't be dramatic." "Dramatic?" I set my glass down. "You want dramatic? Here's what's going to happen. Monday morning, HR is getting a full report about your relationship with our client. Company policy is crystal clear about conflicts of interest." Derek's eyes went wide. "Client? Derek Patterson, Patterson Construction. You're the Morrison account, right? 3-year contract worth $200,000. I looked at Sarah. "You've been conducting a personal relationship with a client during company time, using company resources. That's grounds for immediate termination." Sarah's face went pale. She knew I had her. "As for finances, our joint account access gets reviewed by both parties for any large withdrawals. I'll be exercising that right starting tomorrow. The house payments, car payments, credit cards I've been covering, you'll need to figure out how to handle your half." Derek looked at Sarah like he'd never seen her before. "You said you were financially independent." "I am," Sarah stammered. "Mark, you can't just what? Report an employee for violating company policy? Document conflicts of interest? Follow our joint account procedures?" I pulled out my phone and showed Derek some emails. "By the way, Derek, every meeting you've had with Sarah has been logged as client consultations. Dates, times, locations. Interesting how many of those consultations happened at hotels." The color drained from Sarah's face completely. "There's more," I continued. "Your parents, you know, the ones who still think you're their innocent little girl who goes to church every Sunday? I think they should know why their daughter's marriage is ending." Sarah grabbed my arm. "Mark, please, don't involve them. You involved them when you decided to destroy our marriage." I shook her hand off. "They deserve to know the truth." Derek stood up abruptly. "This is insane. Sarah, you told me he was okay with this. You said you two had talked about opening the relationship." "We did," Sarah lied. "Mark's just being vindictive." "Vindictive?" I laughed. "This isn't vindictive. This is consequences. You made a choice tonight. You chose him over our marriage. That's fine, but I'm not subsidizing your new lifestyle." Derek looked between us, then grabbed his jacket. "I can't do this. This whole situation is fucked up." He looked at Sarah. "You lied to me about everything. About him, about your finances, about being separated. I'm not getting in the middle of this divorce mess." He walked out. Just like that. Sarah stared after him, panic starting to set in. "Derek, wait." But he was gone. The restaurant had gone quiet. Other diners were staring. Sarah turned back to me and now she looked desperate. "Mark, we can work this out. I made a mistake. The only mistake you made was thinking I'd roll over and take it." I finished my whiskey and stood up. "The check's under your name with the hostess. You can figure out how to pay it. Consider it practice for your new independent life." I walked out and drove home. Our home. For now. The next morning I called my lawyer, Jim Morrison. We'd gone to college together, and he specialized in divorce cases. I explained the situation over coffee at his office. She brought her boyfriend to your anniversary dinner? Jim shook his head. That's cold even by divorce standards. Gets better. She works for me. Conflict of interest with a major client. That's actually good for you. Clear policy violation makes the termination clean. What about assets? House is joint ownership, but I've been making the payments. Joint checking has about 30,000. I want to protect my half and document everything for the divorce. Smart. We'll file immediately and request temporary orders. Joint account protection, asset preservation, the works. What about her family? Religious conservatives. They have no idea what she's been up to. You planning to tell them? That conversation needs to happen. Sunday evening I called Sarah's parents. Her mom, Linda, answered. She'd always treated me like family. Mark, how was your anniversary dinner? That's actually why I'm calling, Linda. Sarah and I are getting divorced. Silence. Then, what? What happened? She brought another man to our anniversary dinner and announced she wanted an open marriage. She's been having an affair for 3 months with one of our business clients. The sound Linda made was like someone had punched her. No, that can't be right. Sarah wouldn't. I'm sorry, Linda. I wish I had better news. Where is she now? She stayed at a hotel last night. We haven't talked since the restaurant. Linda started crying. In the background, I could hear Robert asking what was wrong. Linda explained through tears. Then Robert got on the phone. Mark, son, I'm so sorry. We had no idea. I know you didn't. You raised her better than this. Have you talked to a lawyer? Filing papers Monday. I wanted you to hear it from me first. Robert was quiet for a long time. We appreciate that. This is a lot to process. I understand. Take your time. After I hung up, I felt bad about involving them, but they'd find out eventually through the divorce proceedings. Monday morning, I got to the office early and called HR. Margaret, our HR director, was a no-nonsense woman who took policy violations seriously. Mark, what can I do for you? I need to report a conflict of interest situation. Sarah's been having a personal relationship with Derek Patterson from Patterson Construction. Personal relationship? They've been having an affair for 3 months, meeting during business hours, using our client management system to coordinate personal meetings. Margaret was quiet for a moment. Do you have documentation? Email logs, meeting schedules, expense reports. Derek admitted to the relationship Saturday night. This is serious. I'll need to conduct a formal investigation before any employment action. I understand. How long does that typically take? 72 hours for preliminary findings. We'll need to interview both parties and review all documentation. Sarah's out today, personal day. I'll reach out to her tomorrow. In the meantime, I'll review the client files. Around noon, Derek called my direct line. I was surprised to hear from him. Mark, this is Derek Patterson. Can we talk? Sure, what's on your mind? I owe you an apology. Sarah lied to me about your situation. She told me you were separated and planning to divorce anyway. She lied about a lot of things. Yeah, I'm figuring that out. She showed up at my office this morning, demanding to know why I left. Started talking about how we were going to move in together and how I was going to help support her. Derek sounded exhausted. I told her I wasn't ready for that level of commitment. We'd only been seeing each other a few months. What did she say to that? She got angry, said I'd made promises, started threatening to tell people I'd let her on. He paused. Mark, I never promised to support her financially. That never came up. I believe you. I'm ending the relationship. This whole situation is too complicated. I don't want any part of a divorce. That's probably wise. After Derek hung up, I actually felt sorry for the guy. Sarah had manipulated him just like she'd been manipulating me. Tuesday morning, Margaret called me into her office. She had a stack of papers on her desk. I've completed the preliminary investigation, she said. The evidence is clear. Sarah used company resources to facilitate a personal relationship with a client. That's a direct violation of our conflict of interest policy. What's the next step? Formal disciplinary action. Given the severity and the client relationship, I'm recommending termination. When does that happen? I'll call Sarah in today. She'll have a chance to respond to the findings, but the evidence is overwhelming. That afternoon, Sarah came storming into my office without knocking. You bastard, she said. HR called me in for some bullshit investigation. It's not bullshit. You violated company policy. This is retaliation for Saturday night. This is consequences for conducting an affair with a client using company time and resources. Sarah sat down uninvited. I'll fight this. Wrongful termination. Go ahead. Margaret has documentation going back 3 months. Hotel receipts charged to your company card. Client meetings that never happened. Personal emails sent from your work account. Her confidence cracked. Mark, we can work this out. No, we can't. You made your choice Saturday night. What if I end things with Derek? You already did. He called yesterday, doesn't want any part of this mess. Sarah's face went white. He ended it? Apparently you got a little too clingy, started talking about him supporting you financially. She put her head in her hands. For the first time since Saturday, she looked genuinely upset. I fucked up, she said quietly. Yeah, you did. Can we try counseling? Work on the marriage? The marriage ended Saturday night. You killed it when you brought Derek to our anniversary dinner. Sarah left without another word. An hour later, Margaret called to confirm the termination was complete. Wednesday brought new developments. Jim called with an update on the divorce filing. Good news. The court granted our request for temporary orders. Joint accounts are protected, house payments continue as normal, and Sarah can't dispose of any major assets without court approval. What about her response? She has 30 days to file. Her lawyer called this morning fishing for a settlement discussion. Already? Losing her job spooked them. They know she can't afford a long court battle. What are they proposing? Standard 50-50 split. They want her to keep the house. She can't afford the mortgage payments without her salary. Exactly. They'll have to come up with something more realistic. Thursday evening, Sarah's mom called. She sounded exhausted. Mark? We've been trying to reach Sarah, but she's not answering her phone. I don't know where she is, Linda. We're not talking. Her father and I have been praying about this situation. We love Sarah, but what she did was wrong. I appreciate that. We want you to know we don't blame you. You tried to save your marriage. Linda's words hit harder than I expected. Thank you. Will you keep us updated on the divorce? We want to make sure Sarah's okay, but we can't support what she did. Of course. Friday afternoon brought an unexpected visitor. A woman about Sarah's age approached my assistant's desk asking to see me. She introduced herself as Jessica, Sarah's cousin from Phoenix. I flew in this morning, Jessica explained once we were in my office. Sarah called me crying, asked if she could stay with me while she got back on her feet. What did you tell her? I said no. But not for the reason you might think. Jessica sat down. I've been following the situation through family gossip. My aunt and uncle are devastated. I'm sorry about that. Don't be. They needed to know who Sarah really is. Jessica's expression hardened. This isn't the first time she's done this. Done what? Cheated. Lied. Manipulated people. Jessica pulled out her phone. Sarah posted on Facebook 3 days ago. Said you were abusive and controlling. That you isolated her from friends and family. She showed me the post. It had dozens of sympathetic comments from people I didn't even recognize. That's not true, I said. I know, I commented on the post asking for details. When she couldn't provide any, I started asking other family members questions. Jessica put her phone away. Turns out Sarah's been lying about a lot of things for years. Like what? Money problems she blamed on you. Job issues she said were discrimination. Even some health scares that turned out to be completely fake. I leaned back in my chair. 8 years of marriage and I'd never seen through any of it. Why are you telling me this? Because my aunt and uncle are good people who've been manipulated by their daughter, and because I wanted you to know that some of us see through her act. Jessica stood up. I also wanted to warn you, Sarah's desperate. She lost Derek, lost her job, and now she's losing family support. Desperate people do stupid things. What kind of stupid things? False accusations, harassment, stalking. Jessica handed me a business card. This is my attorney in Phoenix. If Sarah escalates things, call him. He's dealt with situations like this before. After Jessica left, I sat in my office thinking about everything she'd told me. The woman I'd been married to for 8 years was essentially a stranger. That weekend was quiet. No calls, no surprise visits, no drama. I started to think maybe Sarah had accepted reality and was planning to move on quietly. I was wrong. Monday morning, my assistant handed me a certified letter that had been delivered over the weekend. It was from a lawyer I'd never heard of, representing Sarah. The letter accused me of wrongful termination, sexual harassment, and emotional abuse. It demanded I reinstate her employment immediately and pay damages. I called Jim immediately. They're desperate, he said after I read him the letter. Sexual harassment? You're married to her. We're married. Even so, this is a Hail Mary. Her lawyer knows she doesn't have a case. This is pure intimidation. What do I do? I'll respond with our evidence. The affair documentation, the policy violations, the client relationship. Once they see what we have, they'll back off. And if they don't, then we countersue for defamation and extortion. Trust me, they don't want that fight. Tuesday brought more fallout. Margaret knocked on my office door looking concerned. Mark, we have a problem. Sarah's been calling our clients directly. What clients? Patterson Construction for starters. She told Derek's office manager that you were harassing her and trying to destroy their business relationship. What did they say? Derek's manager hung up on her, but she also called Morrison Industries and Blackstone Development. Same story with both of them. This was escalating beyond what I'd expected. What's our exposure? Minimal. All 3 clients called me directly to confirm the story wasn't true. But this could be considered interference with business relationships. Can we get a restraining order? Talk to your lawyer. This goes beyond employment issues now. I called Jim immediately. Within 2 hours we had an emergency hearing scheduled for Thursday morning. Wednesday evening, Sarah's dad called. He sounded tired. Mark, we heard Sarah's been causing trouble at your work. Where did you hear that? She called Linda yesterday, screaming about how you were destroying her reputation and turning everyone against her. Robert paused. Son, Linda and I have made a decision. We can't enable this behavior anymore. We love Sarah, but she needs to face the consequences of her choices. I understand. We're not taking her calls anymore. We told her if she wants to reconcile with the family, she needs to get professional help first. That must have been hard. Hardest thing we've ever done. But we can't watch her destroy more lives. Thursday morning's restraining order hearing was brief. Sarah didn't show up, but her lawyer argued the case was just a bitter divorce dispute. The judge wasn't buying it. Client interference and workplace harassment go beyond marital issues. Restraining order granted. Sarah was now legally required to stay away from my workplace and stop contacting our clients. That afternoon, Jim called with news about the divorce. Sarah's lawyer wants to meet. They're ready to settle. What changed their mind? The restraining order. Plus her parents cut off financial support. She can't afford to drag this out. What are the terms? House gets sold. You keep 60% after mortgage payoff. She keeps her personal accounts and car. You keep the business and investments. No alimony. What about her harassment claims? They'll withdraw everything in exchange for a clean divorce. When do we sign? Papers will be ready next week. The house sold within a month. Sarah got about $25,000 after all fees and mortgage payoff. Not enough to start over comfortably, but more than her behavior deserved. I heard through mutual acquaintances that she'd moved back to Phoenix. Someone said she was working retail. Someone else said she was living with a new boyfriend. I didn't care enough to verify either story. The divorce was finalized on a Tuesday in December. I went to court alone. Sarah attended by phone from Arizona. Her lawyer filed the papers and the judge signed off. 8 years of marriage ended with a signature and a file stamp. Walking out of the courthouse, I felt lighter than I had in months. I drove to my new apartment, opened a bottle of wine I'd been saving, and deleted Sarah's contact information from my phone. That evening, I got a friend request on Facebook from someone named Jennifer Walsh. Her profile picture showed a woman about my age with kind eyes and a genuine smile. Her message was simple. Jim Morrison suggested I reach out. Coffee sometime? I looked at her profile. Teacher, divorced, no drama in sight. I sent back a simple response. Coffee sounds good. For the first time in years, I was looking forward to what came next. I blocked Sarah's number and went to bed.